See, that could be its own video. What is it like to have sex with a 320-pound pro bodybuilder?
So you're doing it all wrong. You have to make your face look like it's extremely heavy, and it's the heaviest weight you've ever lifted in your life. You're not gonna, there you go. You're not gonna cut it as a bodybuilder, man.
Welcome back to the channel. Here we are back at Beno's gym. It's been a while, and like always, every time I come here to Collabs, it's always changing. They always move everything to a different place. They're always adding new equipment. But I love this place. Good to be back, and good to be having a bodybuilding workout with Sergio. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah, we met here a few months back, but we haven't had the chance to have a proper workout together. Could have been doing strongman, but unfortunately, however you want to look at it, because of the swelling to my back, now I can get back to bodybuilding workouts. And we're gonna do arms today, you know, ease my way into it. He doesn't train arms, believe it or not. Hard to believe. I haven't been training arms. I had a one arm test with Lewis and Santorini, and before that, there was months before I did any kind of bodybuilding work at all. So I'm not conditioned to train arms, but neither are you, I think.
So I think it's gonna work out perfect.
So I think, yeah, we're making a good matchup today. He's gonna take me through what you would do for arms, right? Because you are a pro, right?
Right.
So I want to see how the pros do it. And what do you think we're gonna start with today?
Well, like you said, they keep changing everything around here, and I think because on the weekends this area closes, so I think a lot of people were mad that they couldn't do arms because the majority of people come to the gym, that's all they train. So they moved all the arm stuff out of this room and they moved it all into the back room.
Okay.
So I hate that room back there. It's super hot and it's super small, but that's where all the arm stuff is, so it kind of makes it simple that it's all together. But I don't know, start with like a warm-up and then do some preachers and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good to me. And what goals are you working towards right now? What do you have in mind? What's on the schedule for you?
Well, just in general, when I first moved out here, I moved out here so I could put some size on, kind of get back into loving bodybuilding again. I think I kind of lost that love, getting so caught up in not doing as well or, you know, next competitions. So I really just kind of moved out here for not any goals in particular other than just physical stuff like that. So now that I'm here, it's actually been really great and I really love it. So my general goal is just to put some size on. I'm gonna take the year off, so it's good to kind of put some size on. I'm not gonna make the cutoff for the Olympia by December anyway, so what I'll do is I'm gonna just put some weight on and then try and compete maybe early next year. But with my overall body, I think everything sucks, so I think I need to work on everything.
You're always running versus critically?
Yeah, I wish there was 9 days out of the week because I would train every day if I could. But I've been training 7 days on, actually. I'll just take a day off if I wake up and feel like shit, and I'll just tell myself that that's a sign that I need to take off. But a lot of times, man, arm day is a day off. It's not really a toll on your nervous system, and a lot of people don't know. You can really just train 7 days if you really are eating right and recovering right. So,
Agreed.
So at arms, I really don't have any goals. We'll
Okay.
just blast them as much as we can.
Oh yeah? All right.
But no, this works out. I'm glad that we were able to get this in because he's either traveling or I'm traveling. We've been trying to get it in together. I appreciate you coming in so late today. I know this is pretty much nighttime for him, this late, training at 2 o'clock. So I appreciate you coming in later, and yeah, let's have some fun.
All right, let's knock it out.
All right,
awesome. So how consistent are you with your meals? I know you mentioned earlier that you're trying to gain mass. So what does a typical day of eating look like for you? Are you hitting your 5 or 6 meals every single day? Do you ever miss meals? Do you ever use protein shakes?
Yeah, I mean, really, my biggest issue is the eating. Like if bodybuilding was just the working out and doing cardio and the suffering part of it, then man, I'd be Mr. Olympia like 10 times by now. But it's the eating that's the hardest part. And I don't know what you started off. You almost started, I think, the exact same weight as I was. We were really skinny.
Yes.
So no matter what, if you miss a meal, our body just wants to go back to that ectomorph kind of lifestyle. So I just have to be on it every 2 hours. When I first started really trying to get on to eating, I set an alarm and it just went off every 2 hours. And that was the best thing that helped me to get on consistently eating. But yeah, like if I do a crazy leg day and I feel like I'm gonna throw up, I can't eat after.
Same.
So sometimes I'll do a shake, but I'll do like a food shake. So it's got like 100+ grams of carbs, oats in it, you know, stuff like that. So it's close to a meal as possible. But yeah, I mean, any bodybuilder that says that they don't miss meals, they're lying to you. It's bullshit. You definitely have good days and you have bad days. If anyone has a relationship, then you're definitely missing meals.
You're losing sleep.
Yeah.
You're losing hair. And it's going great.
So yeah, that's the hardest part for me.
Same here.
When do you get up in the morning?
I wake up about 7 usually. I'm going to bed by 10, 11.
I was gonna say, shit. You're going to bed when the streetlights come on.
So you're going to bed at what time?
3.
Oh man, yeah, those days are long gone for me.
I wish it was because I'm staying up partying or doing something. I'm just literally eating.
So you're staying up. So how many meals a day are you having consecutively?
6.
Okay.
So now that I'm coming and training around 5, I'll train for about 2 hours, get out of here at 7. Then I have to eat another meal 9, another meal like 11, and then that's the problem is at the end I'm trying to squeeze in one more meal, and I guilt trip myself if I go to bed without having that extra meal. So,
and as you should. I think if you're trying to make progress and you're not hard enough on yourself, you let these days go by where you're missing meals and you tell yourself it's okay. That's what's holding you back. So having that mentality, I think, is really important, where you do hold yourself accountable and you do have that guilt if you miss a meal. Because if you get too comfortable missing meals, just eating when you're hungry, you're gonna stay in your comfort zone and you're not gonna make any progress.
The biggest tip that I've been trying to pass to people in the last 2 years, and the thing that I've been implementing myself, is count how many days in a row you did perfect. And perfect, not okay, not good enough, not better than what I used to do, but actually perfect. You got all your meals in, you worked out, you slept right, you had no drama in your life, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna have distractions, and then try and beat that record. So if you can do 3 or 4 days perfect, and then you know what, you get into a fight with your girl, it fucks up, and the number starts all over again. And then it just becomes like a contest between yourself. Okay, I did 4 days in a row perfect, now I'm gonna try and shoot for 5. And before you know it, man, you're doing weeks perfect, and it's a good way to block out negativity and distractions.
Yeah, that was my next question actually. How many days do you typically go in a row before you hit that wall and like you cave, have a cheat meal, eat what you want to eat, and miss a meal?
Well, right now all my meals are cheat meals because it's
all 6 meals.
Not all of them. I'll have a couple chicken and rice, but it's so hard for me to gain weight that if I'm not doing close to 10,000 calories a day, there's just no way that my body's gonna gain any more. I've already gained 150 pounds since I've started.
Wait, started when?
When I was 22, so
Okay.
15 years. So I even started training late. I think because my dad was just my dad, and then I grew up in a gym, it wasn't even a thing for me to do bodybuilding or even lift weights. I never even touched a weight until I was already graduated from high school, done with sports, because I ran track and I was a swimmer. So everything that I did only made me even more skinny. But now that I've gained that 150 pounds, to gain 1 pound is it's like pulling nails. My body doesn't want to do it. So I literally just have to force it and eat like a savage.
I will add that at my heaviest was 300 on the dot, and that happened. So I went from 270 to 300 in about 2 weeks. If I kept eating like that for instead of 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, imagine how huge you'd be, how huge I'd be. But to eat 10,000 calories a day for weeks, months at a time is extremely challenging.
It just ruins it for you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I want to be like, well, it's my job, it's what I have to do, but you eventually hate food.
For sure.
And then that's what started happening to me. I started not hating, but I definitely was disliking my career. It turned into, I couldn't really do anything because I wanted to go do it for fun or just to eat something because I want to eat it. It's like, how much grams of calories are in this? How many carbs are in this? How much protein is this? And unfortunately, it's not a really good way to live life.
Especially when you spend so much of your life eating.
Yeah. And then you become so sluggish.
That's for sure.
You're actually borderline, you feel like you're obese. You know, tying your shoe is a hard thing. You know, getting up and down off the couch. But when you get on stage and you don't feel small, then it all makes it all worth it. So, but can you make it to that show? That's the hard part. People can gain weight, but then it becomes too hard and then they end up giving up or tapping the brakes before they get to the show and even realize, man, you know what? This was worth it. Because the last show that I did, the last 2 shows, even the Arnold, I was the biggest person. If you would have told me that 10 years ago that I would have did the Arnold Classic and I'm the heaviest person to show, I would have said there's no way. But I learned in that show, being the biggest also isn't what wins shows. So when I weighed the most I ever have is the worst placing I've ever done too. So you have to try and figure out that fine line of gaining that weight, but then shredding it all up by the time you get ready for the show. But I think I can't even give myself any profit off of anything. It's more that I've actually just messed up so many times that I know exactly what I need to do. It's not even like, oh, I studied this and I learned this and I know that. No, I literally just screwed up my life or screwed up my career so many times that now I've actually figured it out. I know exactly what to do.
And that's a great way to put it. I'm a big advocate of life is your best teacher. Experience is your best teacher. And if you're afraid to fail, that's worse than failing in itself. Or just being afraid to ever try in the first place.
But how do you do that? How do you not be afraid to fail?
Well, you can only learn from your mistakes. So if everything is working out for you all the time, what are you learning from that?
Right.
You end up staying in your comfort zone. You know, I've had my biggest growth from injuries. Because every time I get hurt, I learn. I self-reflect and I say, okay, what led me to this injury? Why did it happen? There's always a reason. And I make it a point to never get injured. The same injury twice. And it hasn't happened. Like I haven't had the same injury more than once in the last decade. Now, it may seem like I get hurt all the time, which is true, but they're always small injuries and they never happen more than once. Because I always learn from each one. Like the last couple I had, a small hamstring tear, the small injury in my back. It's never gonna happen again because I know exactly why it happened. With the yoke, my technique got sloppy, I was racing at the time, hamstring tore. My back took 3 weeks off, thinking that I'd be okay to come back and pick up where I left off, but I was wrong, and that's never gonna happen again. I'll never take 3 weeks off of training and then resume in extreme volume training. I was doing 9 sets a week before I left, came back, and then 2 days later, after the vacation, I tried to replicate that exact session I did before I left. So that was a rookie mistake, and that's never gonna happen again. But every time you get hurt, like you can learn from that.
It's crazy you're saying that because with bodybuilding it's the opposite. So if you do take off 3 weeks, you'll come back fresher and do better. Because ours isn't a weight thing. We're not going off of how much weight we can do. It's just feel and connection. So you'll hear a lot of people that they'll actually take like a week off, go on vacation, come back, and they train even better. So it's just interesting the different dynamics with powerlifting and strongman that you actually need to stay on that and keep your body under that toll. For bodybuilding, you have to give it a break every now and then.
For sure. And you can afford up to 10 days before you start to atrophy and your conditioning starts to deteriorate. You can go up to 10 days. Like I can take a week off, come back, definitely.
Even though we think in like 2 days, we're like, oh my God, I lost all my muscle. It's so true. But yeah, 10 days sounds exactly right.
But you cross that 10-day threshold and then start to go south from there. Your body doesn't need to be this big and strong for any reason, unless you give it a reason.
So if anyone ever watches me train here, they'll see that I have to take so long to figure out how much weight is because of kilos. And it just shows how ignorant us Americans are. We just know exactly what it is. And yeah, why can't I just 2.2 figure it out?
No, screw that, because if they went to America and tried to use the pound system, they'd be lost as well.
But you know what's funny? Because in America, I think it's made to make us feel better. Because you go up 1 kilo here in weight, you weigh or the weight you lifted, it's a lot.
It's true.
But yeah, you go up 1 pound, it's really nothing.
Very true. Those are pretty big rights, yeah. Sweet. reps we're doing, but tell me. It's homework.
I was thinking like 3 to 4 reps.
See, that's something I can do. If it's under 5 reps, that's where I shine. Anything over 5 reps makes me look bad.
I jump.
45 kg, not that way.
Larry, you do that with one arm.
I mean, actually, yes.
Yeah, let's go to 50.
Oh, damn it.
Well, we're going to only do 3.
Oh, actually, we did 3-4 reps.
No. Sets. Look how excited you got.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're just doing one max today on arms. That's definitely safe.
I can't count. Okay,
10.
Cool. Take your word for it.
It was like 20, 25 reps. You know. So you're doing it all wrong. You have to make your face look like it's extremely heavy, and it's the heaviest weight you've ever lifted in your life. You're not gonna. There you go. You're not gonna cut it as a bodybuilder, man. The more you exaggerate, the more bodybuilder you are.
That's ripping a page out of Branch Warren's book, I'd say. Whenever I think of like intense faces and intensity, Branch Warren always comes to mind.
It's crazy because he's like an avid Christian, and outside of the gym, he just doesn't use any swear words. He's just very monotone. Every time you meet him, you're like, oh my God, this guy doesn't like me. But he's just very quiet. But in the gym, it's like the devil comes out of him. And it's cool to be able to tap into that. And then when you leave the gym, you're like a completely different person. Because you'll meet people and they'll say Branch is the nicest person they've ever met. But then you watch him in like Generation Iron, he's yelling at the cameraman to get out of his way. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. Hey man, Johnny's got to be your boy though. Johnny's like the you of the.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, I'd argue he's done even better because he actually has pro card and his physique's on a whole nother level.
But does both because Branch doesn't do powerlifting, he doesn't do strongman. None of us do that.
Right.
You are a rare breed because you tapped into a little bit of all of them. You know, someone can ask me, what's the hardest thing to do? I have no idea. He's only done one thing. You can say, honestly, I like doing this, but this is actually harder, you know? And you have an actual, better opinion than a bodybuilder who just does one thing only.
On that note, I find bodybuilding harder only because I don't enjoy it as much. So it's more of a chore for me. Now, the training for bodybuilding, that excruciating pump, I think it's necessary for the physique I want to have, but I see it as a chore rather than something I look forward to. Where strength training, I look forward to it, even if it's 9 sets of 8, and I'm deadlifting for 3 hours back to back. I look forward to that. That's fun for me. Any aspect of training, hitting a heavy single or triple, because, like I said, I treat bodybuilding as like a chore. Like, okay, I want to look this way, so I'm going to do the work, but it feels like work. You know, whereas for you, strength training is important. So I imagine if you would do strength training, like take a page out of my book, it would feel harder just because you don't enjoy it as much.
Right. You know how like runners get runner's high? Do you get like a high from?
Oh, for sure. And you can see it clear as day if I ever hit a PR. I imagine that's what a bodybuilder feels when they get first place at a competition, right? It's all relative, isn't it?
It's true, right.
Now, if I got first place at a bodybuilding show, it wouldn't hit the same as smashing a PR. I know it's more challenging for me because the enjoyment isn't the same, but nonetheless, it wouldn't bring that excitement and adrenaline rush that I know a PR brings. And if I were Mr. Olympia, you know, we're talking something else, right?
Yeah,
that's a whole different level of achievement.
For sure, of course. But just a regular show,
Yeah.
it would kind of just be like, okay, this is cool, on to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bodybuilding competitions are almost like letting you and all your family and everyone who's involved in your career let you know that it was worth it. And that's kind of really, I think, what the high comes off when you win a show, because you look what you're going to look like the day before the show as you do when you get that first place trophy. So it's not like you did something or you look different. I think it just makes everything that you went through, and while your family and your friends are watching you, it makes it seem like, oh, okay, you know what? All that drama, all that bullshit, all the us not be able to do anything for that 19 weeks, it was worth it. So I think that's the high, and your family gets it, and your friends get it too.
Well said.
Because no one's in the gym with you when you're trying to break that PR. You know, you have your workout partner, you know, like maybe a close friend, but like your family's not in there, so they don't see how many times you tried and failed and actually how long it took you. So when you get it, they're happy for you, but there isn't this like sense of like, oh, okay, you know what? Let's do this again. This was all worth it. Because going into the show, no matter what anyone says, they're like, man, I don't know how many more of these I can do. You start, and you know, low carbs, low sugar, you start saying crazy things in your head. Like, oh man, maybe this isn't for me, I don't know. And then you win and it kind of justifies it.
Okay, very well said.
Let's try 8 to 10.
Okay.
Maybe a spot.
Okay. There it is. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's textbook form, guys. Come on. Yep. There it is. Yep. Don't need me yet. Okay. Oh yeah. There we go. Yep. Yeah. Feel this. That's right. Beautiful. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was more than 10.
That was like 1,000 pounds. 1,000 kilos, actually. Never been done before.
Well, your face.
My
made it
face,
seem
that's
like
what I meant.
1,000
Yeah, in my
kgs.
face, I was lifting at
That's what I'm
PR.
reading.
Okay, now do this weight while you look like you're about to fall asleep.
Oh, look at that face.
Easy, yeah.
Oh.
Come on. Nice. Like a real bodybuilder.
I wasn't faking it. That was a struggle.
He's just making it seem like it's heavy so I don't look really bad. I appreciate it. Another thing that you can't train, can't buy is your grip. So I have the worst grip. I think I hurt myself because look, this is as hard as I can squeeze. But the left I could squeeze like crazy. So I can't lift without my Versa grips.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's because I've always used them that I've made my grip weak, which is probably what you'll say. But that's probably the worst thing about me, is I'm so reliant on this. So when we're like pumping up backstage, I'm the guy busting out my straps. Looks like I'm about to do a full-blown workout and everyone's looking at me, but really it's just because my grip is so bad on my right hand.
You know, I'd argue that you should do at least half the workout without the Versa grips, just so you can work your grip and forearms, but your forearms are clearly developed, so I don't think there's really a point for you to start working your grip now.
Yeah,
Because
right.
you work your grip, and then you're never going to be lift the same weight with the Versa grips. You know, even as strong as my grip is, I always lift more with straps.
And I probably could make up some lie and sell some ebook on forearm training, but really it's 100% from my dad. I probably, when I first started working out, I did a little forearm
They are
workouts
huge.
and stuff like that. But yeah, this is probably the only thing of him that I got. I wish I got his chest or his back, but no, I got the forearms, which there is no front double forearm pose in bodybuilding, so it's the most useless thing I need in bodybuilding. But yeah, I probably could just lie and make up a bunch of stupid ass workouts for people and they would buy it, but I can't even lie, I seriously did not earn these.
Well, I commend your honesty, and you would not be the first to lie about something like that. glad you're not joining the ranks.
Sign up for my ebook. Yeah.
Still going. Jesus. And you know, maybe there was some shoulder trap, but there was no momentum. These were not momentum curls. These were hammer curls.
Thanks.
I mean, I was expecting like a little pendulum action, but they're pretty good. I don't know if it's a 2-1 bicep or what, but the right side so much easier.
Are you right-handed?
Yeah. So much easier. Like, thinking like calculations, okay, like you're 5'9", 5'10".
Thanks, dickhead. But no, you're right, because when I'll tell them, I'll be like, I was 285 on stage.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, that's a lot. It's really not. I can't even take credit for it because when you're 5'11 plus, it's just in your height. So I tell people all the time, I'm trying to be an advocate for tall bodybuilders. In the beginning, you get your ass beat. You get whooped because these 5'7", 5'8", 5'9" bodybuilders, they grow so fast. But they eventually stop growing. They either start growing wide, they start growing the wrong way. And that's when guys like Cedric, Arnold, Tony Freeman, they surpass people because they're able to keep filling out their body without being like bloated. Mm-hmm. So
keep a small waist.
Yeah, but you can't be like, oh, I'm like they said. Ronnie was 297 on stage. It's amazing, but he's also 5'11. So it's probably the same weight Phil is at 5'9.
Are you 6 foot or 5'11"?
I used to be 6 foot, but I'm shrinking.
Are you?
Yeah. So I started doing that inverted chair thing to try and lengthen out my body again. It's just all the weight poundage making me shorter. I don't know how you're not like 5 inches shorter. You actually started at 7 foot.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's Jesus.
No.
Like a clean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No.
There it is.
Oh. Go.
There it is. Jesus.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta beat that guy.
Yes, indeed. I know, right? I'm going lighter.
There you go.
Same one?
Be with someone who actually is really understanding of your lifestyle because you're such a slob that nobody wants to be intimate with someone like that. You're just like, come on, baby. Just disgustingly fat.
See, that could be its own video. What is it like to have sex with a 320-pound pro bodybuilder?
But, like I said earlier, when they get that first place, she's like, okay, it was worth it.
Then she's proud. For sure, she's proud.
Unless you lose, and then she's like, man, fuck this.
Hey, what are you doing this for? What am I doing this for?
I'm
if there was a statistic, pretty sure the smaller the bodybuilder, the more pussy you can get.
Oh, absolutely.
Just universally, slimmer guys are more attractive to women than bodybuilders, I guess.
No, it's intimidating for sure.
It's very intimidating. And unless they're also living that lifestyle, they'll feel insecure.
Yeah.
Because, they'll look at us like Greek gods. I don't see myself that way. I'm sure neither do you. But they feel intimidated, like you said. They feel insecure. So if they're not working out, they're gonna look at themselves and little belly fat, which I love. I like a soft woman.
Absolutely right.
I don't want her to be shredded, but for sure, like the classic guys will clean up more than the pros.
Yeah.
The pro open bodybuilders, 100%. And the women I've dated have always been passionate about fitness. It's not like I could date a woman that's partying every other weekend and not working out, so there needs to be some kind of something that we can relate to there, because it's such a big part of my life. But they don't have to take it to the same extreme as me, for sure.
Yeah, you wouldn't want them to.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I actually have only dated people that are not on the gym.
Okay.
I've dated one person that
It never worked out.
It works out, but it's my career that usually ruins it. It's not like because of something they did or something I did. It's just a toll on their life.
Yeah.
And I think being a professional open, like I said, it's just every day is the same thing. So you watch Pumping Iron and he makes a joke about how his mom died and he didn't go to the funeral. We found out later that was fake, but he was using it as an example because there is going to be times where someone has a wedding, someone has some kind of birthday, and no matter what, it's just not worth it for you to go. It has to be someone very special for you to miss the gym, miss your meals. Now you're sitting there, and even as I'm saying it, there's probably people watching that are like, dude, get a life. Like you can go to one function, but no, because my competition's gone. And I think that ends up being a toll on the people's lives that are with you. And like I said, if you're not winning every show, it starts to become then maybe this isn't worth it, because they're giving up their life too. But as on like an attractive level, I definitely do not want someone ripped and shredded and stuff like that.
I can relate to you. I went to two weddings in July. Okay,
Two in the same month.
2 in the same month. Right now, if I didn't go, my training would have not been interrupted.
Right.
I would be going to a competition right now. Now, I did have the injury, but I didn't need 3 weeks here. 1 weekend would have been okay. I could have resumed training mid-July, and I would have still been conditioned. So one can argue, like, if you have a competition in 8 to 10 weeks, you can't afford to take weeks off of training for any reason. It's either you're going to perform in your competition or you're not, or you're going to go to that function like you said. So I totally understand how that could, if you really are dedicated and you're serious about it, it could hurt the relationship, because it's, of course, your partner's going to want you to be at these important events that's important to them, to her, right?
I mean, but also mental health is a muscle too that we're starting to learn is actually very important. So let's say you went to those functions, you came back, you didn't get hurt, and you were able to keep training, you would have been happy that you went, right? Took that break. It's only because now something happened, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have. And that's the give and take when you go do something outside of your realm. I could have went to a wedding too, but really I'm just miserable when I'm there because I'm like, oh, this little ass chicken meal is not enough for me. I'm definitely not gonna go to someone's wedding and bring a Tupperware. But I don't want to be that guy. So it just starts to turn into, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on only the negative that came out of it? Because what if you came back, you hit your PR, you did it, but then man, now you're starting to get like burned out. And burned out is something that happens to everybody.
Right. And
that's not a muscle you can train in the gym. It actually can only be trained by taking a break. And I saw you were on a trip with someone very beautiful too, so that also helps on that kind of level where we get lonely.
Right.
And that's like a whole nother thing.
Absolutely, yeah, you do need companionship.
But women like the men's physique guys the most because then they can share clothes. So you're like me, you pretty much train alone. Who of the people you train with did you actually like? I mean, besides me, of course.
Who thought I training with you?
I did.
Thor, mostly because not just Thor himself is bigger than life, he's larger than life. His crew that would always be there every workout session, his friends, his family, they just created an unbelievable atmosphere.
Damn, they're with him every time. Exactly. That is really cool.
That atmosphere you just can't reproduce without that kind of crowd. It's a legit crowd. It was like over 10 people, all really passionate about strongman and strength training, and they're all cheering you on, screaming at you, and And then to see Thor as strong and big as he is, it was just like I was in a Hollywood movie. You know, I felt like I was watching something behind the scenes.
No, for sure you are.
You know, because he really feels larger than life. Now, not so much because he's trimmed down so much. He's not as imposing as he once was, but when he was walking around, almost 500 pounds. 6'9", like 470 he was when I was training with him in Iceland. You just never get used to that. He really was a fucking giant. The biggest person I've ever been around. I've been around Brian Shaw, but he was a bit softer.
Yeah.
But Thor was really well put together.
Yeah.
So it just made him so imposing, and that was just really cool to see. But I've trained with so many cool people over the years. Generally, people that are more hype, I can resonate with more because I like to get hype. And I don't like being hyped by myself. It's not the same. You want someone to bounce off of. You want to bounce off someone else's energy, right?
Right, for sure.
But for bodybuilding workouts, it's not as important to me to get all super hype and as I would like the strength training workouts. I think NDO champ been a lot of fun as well.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm talking about, NDO champ?
Well, yeah.
NDO champ?
Yeah.
Again, it's just been like thousands, probably over 100 collabs by now. There's so many collabs because we're just non-stop meeting new people, influencing bodybuilders and athletes. It just doesn't stop. And that's the best part about this, about what I do. Getting to pick different people's brains and just constantly learning. I like to always have that student mentality. I really present myself as a teacher, even though I've gathered plenty of life experience and learned from the experience of others to get to this point. But I like being a student, especially when doing collaboration. I like to see what they can teach me, what I can learn from them. You know?
That's rare for you to be who you are status-wise and the level you are, and you still are a sponge trying to learn. Because usually people that get to that level, it's kind of like, I've learned everything that I can do, really can't get any better, yada yada.
You can't ever close the book. You can never close the book. You never stop being a student.
That's why I moved here.
Yeah.
I was tired of being the biggest guy at every gym I go to, and it's gonna happen when you're a pro. It's part of it. But even here, there's people that are smaller than me that train harder than me. There's people that are way more dedicated, and I can feed off of that. I mean, yeah, I have like an Andrew Jackson. I have you here that kind of is like a reminder, just on pure mass. Like, you could be a little bit bigger, Sergio. But sometimes the intensity and the kind of like the dedication, there's no way that I'm gonna miss a meal or miss a day off the gym when I see a classic guy in here who's here every day, killing it, walking around with his Tupperware. It kind of reminds me like I can do better. So that's probably been the best thing about this place. The machines are great. Getting away from America and how fucked up it is right now is definitely helping. But everyone in here is above average. So, you know?
And you are a product of your environment.
For sure.
You know, and when I want to do bodybuilding training, I come here to like the bodybuilding mecca of the Middle East. I won't want to do bodybuilding training anywhere else in Dubai. But when I want to do strongman, I'll go to Strong Gym. I want to do powerlifting, I'll go to Desert Barbell. You want to go to the environment that best suits your goals. I'm telling you like you don't know. I'm just really telling you guys.
No,
this guy knows.
No, but it's good to hear it.
This guy knows.
For sure. Well, pressure machine in it. It works your triceps.
Oh, tell me more.
I got you, bro. Sign up for my ebook. You can tell when you put a powerlifter strongman on a machine, they're just like, do I just lift up the whole machine? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm very old school with my approach, so I'm not well versed with machines. There it is. I hope you got that. Okay.
The
Symmetry.
measurements, right, might be different. Of course, it's what I do for a living. but I'm saying the shape, we have the same muscle bellies.
So you think if I did bodybuilding full time and followed your diet,
We would look exactly the same. People are only so many different body types. It's not like it's my opinion thing. We are for sure the same body type. You can just tell how your shoulders are capped, how your arms are. Things can always be bigger. You can fill in the gaps. That's like a whole other part of bodybuilding. But at the end of the day, you're either, they like to say it's apples versus oranges, but really it's really just shapes. It's really like circles and squares. Some people are blocky and square, you know? You can be a Jay Cutler. He is not round or anything like that, but in his category, he is the best. Branch is kind of like his own category, or you can be a Phil, Flex, Wheeler type of thing.
right round?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. Now, bodybuilding is chalked up a lot of the time to genetics, which is true. You know, you have to deal with the cards you've been dealt and make it work. But how much your physique today would you say is genetics, and how much of it did you have to work on your symmetry? Like, how much have you had to work on your symmetry? Were you always this symmetrical, or did you have, if like before you were training 150 pounds ago, normal average physique? Did you always know you had that potential in you? What I'm trying to get at? Did you always see yourself and go, I could be a pro bodybuilder?
No, it's funny because the best thing that happened for me in my career is that I was so ignorant that I thought that I was gonna grow as fast as I did the first 4 or 5 months. I gained like 30, 40 pounds. And I even did the math, 30, 40 pounds, 4 months, 5 years. I even told, I never forget this, and I talk about this all the time. I went and met Phil. Phil just won his pro card. So he just became a pro. I'm waiting in line to meet him, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I've gained X amount of weight. I should be a pro in about 5 years. Like, one, it ended up taking me 10, so I was way off. And two, Phil should have been like, bro, you have no idea how hard this is. Because it becomes so hard to gain weight once you've put on a bunch that the best thing happening for all people getting into the gym is that you get results so fast. You could do everything wrong. I tell people all the time, just because you gain weight doesn't mean your workout plan was right. You can come in, fuck up everything in here, you're gonna gain weight because you weren't doing it before. It's like playing golf. When people play golf, it's fun in the beginning. Whatever your strokes are, whatever your handicap is, but once you start having to like worry about this thing and worry about that thing, one, it becomes not fun anymore, but then you actually start having to worry, focusing on just this backswing or whatever it is. So with me, I realized certain things grow faster. So I even went periods where I didn't train my legs because I was very bottom heavy in the beginning. I didn't train my arms in the beginning, they grew really fast. But my back and my chest, it was so hard to grow. But I learned my training was shit. It's not a coincidence that my bis and my tris were my best, and my back and my chest were the worst. Obviously, they're doing all the weight on chest day. So on arm day, I'm doing arms. On chest day, I'm doing arms. On shoulder day, I'm doing arms. Back day, I'm doing arms. And like you said, when you got injured, same thing happened to me. I also learned too, when you do this sport, you can't do other sports anymore. You can't. You can pretend that you can, but if you play basketball or football with any of your buddies, you're gonna do something because your body's not ready for that type of training anymore. So I tried to play a little flag football with some friends back in Chicago, tried to do a swim arm move, they jammed me in my armpit, I thought my career was done. My shoulder was done, I couldn't even lift. So when I came back, I actually just tried to focus on manipulating the weight instead of just trying to crush it. And that's when I actually learned how to work out, and I ended up gaining 80 pounds that year. Then that amount of time took me years. So like you said, sometimes getting injured was the best thing that could happen. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
It did, and then some.
But it doesn't matter what I say because I can tell people I did this, I focus on this, I put emphasis on this. They're still gonna say, oh, you only got it because your dad. So it doesn't matter. So with me in bodybuilding, there's another thing in bodybuilding too, is that sometimes the poses, we can talk about this when we do posing too, sometimes the pose isn't actually what you should be hitting. So like a side tricep, you think what you're looking at is a tricep. It's actually the least important thing in a side tricep. So if your leg, your glute, your ham is way sicker on one side, they're more focusing on that. They're focusing on your obliques and your abs. when the tricep's kind of just the name of the pose. So my left tricep is way better than my right, but my leg is way better. So I do all my side shots on this one because my leg is better.
Okay, that's smart. Okay.
It's hard, man.
Okay.
There's so many times, even like my front double, I feel more classic like this doing it, but my right leg is way bigger. So I want to show that one and hide this one and do that. And that's like what Frank Zane implemented, that you can be. Frank Zane won the Olympia at the weight I did my first show, 176. So, but he was the master of illusions, and if you just angle your body this way, put your hips this way, you can look way bigger, but if he stood straight up and down, he would be last place. So when you're tall, you can't hide stuff as much. That's the hard part. It doesn't matter how you turn, you're still just gonna be like long ass arms and legs.
Wacky wild inflatable man.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything that you don't like? Like the expos, traveling? Like I love going to different countries, I love being there, but the actual airport and plane, I hate. I despise flying now.
Yeah, see, I wasn't traveling at all during COVID. For one, there's restrictions, and then once the restrictions got lifted, then you had to deal with the PCR test and the vaccination and quarantine and all of that turned me off from traveling. But this year, I've been like nearly a dozen countries already. And I do enjoy it. But about expos, like I do enjoy that even more because it's like you get to give back.
Right.
And only maybe once, twice a year will people get to meet me outside of the gym, unless they're lucky to run into me or something. So if they really want to meet me, their best chance at an expo. So if I'm not there, then it's like I'm never giving them the opportunity, because if not for them, like I wouldn't be able to do what I do today, right? And it sounds so generic to say that, but
no, it's good that you know that.
You have to acknowledge the support that you're being given, and I've been giving a tremendous amount of support all throughout my success and my failures as well. And I like that people down below in the comments, like most recently, are not afraid to speak their mind, and I like that not everyone's a yes man. Like there's some people saying, well, you should have known better, Larry. Like that was a rookie mistake. So I appreciate all the engagement and
all of them.
Yeah, I do, because sometimes they're right. Like if everyone only ever shows you love and no hate, it's like
No, right. I'm all about the no yes men. That's definitely I'm an avid person for that. But you also have people that comment that are obviously unhappy in their life. They're probably not achieving anything, and then they see that you lost a competition or you hurt yourself, and then their comment isn't any constructive criticism. It's just haha. Those are not welcome.
Yeah.
There's no
those
way.
are just the trolls. I don't even address those.
Oh, okay.
The constructive
so
criticism.
all of the actual fans.
Exactly. Not the trolls that just happen to see me in the Explore page of YouTube. Like, who's this big idiot? So, I do love the expos, and I do like being able to give back. And, it feels good to be able to help people doing what I do. Because I know everyone watching this is watching not just because it's cool to see big biceps get pumped up, because there's actually some educational value as well, especially when I get to speak with people that's English as first language like yourself. We can bounce experience off each other more naturally. Here in Dubai, I like collaborations because I get to experience different culture and like the Asians and Europeans, people from the Middle East, but there's like a bit of a language barrier.
Right.
So some things get lost in translation, sometimes I need a translator altogether, then speak any English. So it's nice to be able to talk to someone, from the home court.
Someone who doesn't shut up.
We're going to see that in the comments, I'm sure. We're going to see that. Close enough. I'm gonna get back on meal prep because when you're on point with your meals, your training is also on point.
Of course, right.
You know.
But I know how it is. Like sometimes when you're focusing on how you're fucking up on your meals, it only makes you even less hungry. Because then you're just like stressed that you're not eating, so then you don't eat.
Stress is an appetite suppressant, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I think with any meal plan, no matter what diet you follow, they all work. Just you need a good variety.
Yeah, it gets. I mean, no matter what, it gets boring. And any bodybuilder says, you just have to eat the same thing every day, they're lying.
No, not the same thing every day. The same macros, but it could be, doesn't have to be chicken every day. It could be fish.
Right.
You know, it could be lean beef. It could be tofu. It could be a shake. You know,
Yeah.
just variety. Even if you have your favorite meal every day,
You're gonna get sick of it.
you're gonna sick after 3-4 days.
Right.
Every time you eat it consecutively, you're gonna like it less and less and less. It can be your favorite meal.
Right.
No numbers on it. All right. All right, let's see it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay, last one. Oh. Choo.
Get it.
Shit. Oh. Oh. Well. Yeah.
Yes.
Go.
Nice.
Oh, that's it. Done.
Yes.
My least favorite workout.
It's like the dessert of bodybuilding.
It really
It's
is.
the dessert.
It's like majority of everyone's favorite that's not serious, but then the people that are serious, it really doesn't matter.
I don't have armies anymore. You don't have armies anymore.
They don't win shows and they don't win competitions, really. It's really good for expos, pictures, but that's
sure.
about it. Otherwise, it doesn't make you any money.
On social media, however,
Man, it really does, man.
it does make all the difference. Having a small waist and big arms.
You really could. You could ride off of that. You could get into shape one time, take 1,000 pictures, and post those for the next 5 years.
Oh,
And people will think that, man, you know what? I need to buy this guy's workout plan because this is really great. When they're really not that serious. But that's how it is today.
it won't be like that forever.
I mean, no matter what, everybody gets old.
Exactly.
Eventually, your body, all of our bodies are going to deteriorate. And then if that's all you are is arms and, you know, chest and stuff like that, then what are you going to do next? Can't put a thong on and show your new socks forever.
Look, we are wrapping up today's Buy and Try workout. I had a pleasure picking your brain. I hope you, the viewers, learned something today. We'll always be providing you with some kick-ass content. I will be back to regular uploads. I'm back from vacay. I'm no longer just training 3 days a week for strongman. So I will be still preparing for that 1,000-pound deadlift. And that training starts as soon as my back is healed up, which will be about a couple of weeks. Not rushing, this is what my doc says, David Johnson. Outside of deadlift, I will be doing bodybuilding workouts and hoping to collaborate with more individuals like yourself. We need more America in Dubai.
Like it.
And I hope you enjoyed it as well. We're actually gonna head over to the posing room because I have been meaning to have a posing lesson from a pro such as yourself. And I am going to be following meal prep and sticking on an extreme diet regimen for a week, vlogging my physique daily, and I'm going to do a little compilation at the end of the week, after the end of the 7 days, and you'll see just how quick it is for people with our body type to get shredded. So we are ectomorphs, and people like me, you, Sharif, when we diet, when we go in a calorie deficit, when we're not eating fast food, junk food, we're actually counting those macros, we can get shredded really fast. But we can't gain very fast. That's our struggle. So it's like, pick your poison. Either you can gain very easily or you can lose very easily. So for me, you and Sharif, behind the camera, myself and Sergio all have no problem getting shredded. I remember last time I did it, in just 2 weeks, I was at like 7% body fat. I was peeled. So I want to see that look again. Now that bodybuilding training is more important to me about my physique as opposed to how strong I am. And I want to see as well how close, or I should say, how many calories I really need to get to a 1,000-pound deadlift. Because when I did 930 for 3, I was only on about 2,100 calories a day. So, but that was a mix, that was mostly cheat meals. It was whatever I wanted to eat. So I want to try and get about 3,000 calories, just a bit more, but clean. Just be consistent for just 8 weeks for deadlift training and see just how little calories I really need to get stronger, because it was the volume that got me stronger, not necessarily the calories of the PDs. But look, this video is long enough. I'm gonna wrap this video. Follow Sergio, link down below, and stay tuned to the channel for the 1,000-pound deadlift coming in a couple of months. Still working towards my goals. Just a little bump in the road, in my back specifically.
Little.
And we're heading to the posing room. If you want to see that, we'll be releasing in a couple of days.